Hi, my name is Stephen Draper, and welcome to CMAR 4329, Hyperlocal Communication. This is an introductory video lecture in the series. This course is kind of a hybrid of journalism, marketing, and communication, all utilizing mobile media like smartphones and digital tools like blogs and online software, if you will, to target a specific audience. That's what hyperlocal means. In this lecture, we're going to be going over some of the tools we'll be using in this course, gaining a better understanding of what being hyperlocal actually is, and introduce the idea of blogging and micro-blogging. First off, let me just give a moment to introduce myself. I'm a journalism and digital media arts professor at Oklahoma Baptist University. I joined in 2014, but for well over a decade I've worked in media and always had a strong passion for missions, and honestly gotten to use both of those in my career together. Some of my career highlights, just to gloss over real quick: I've worked at NBC for Baltimore, ABC here in Oklahoma City, and served with the International Mission Board in the Middle East for 2.5 years. It's kind of my life's passion, though, is this combination of media and the Great Commission, this fusion, if you will, as I believe that media has a place in getting to share the gospel. And that's what this course is actually kind of designed with in mind, though it's certainly a lot of the content here will be applicable other places as well. So let's talk about the course again, and let's discuss what we'll be using this semester for hyperlocal communication. First off, you'll be needing access to a computer with steady internet access. You're going to be doing everything online, including this class. So assignments will be turned online, communication will be via email and possibly Skype, but you'll also be doing work with online tools, and that'll be very necessary that you have a computer that can do that. You'll also be using social media, blogging, uploading photos and videos, and doing other digital tasks. So for all of this, a smartphone is going to be very necessary, and you'll be doing a lot of your photos and videos and media work using a smartphone. In this course, you're going to be using a lot of websites that will require several accounts for those websites. So you'll be needing to create them and upload and share your content across those. So it's very beneficial to perhaps have one email that you can use tie those accounts to. Finally, what are you going to be needing for reading? The lectures are a key component to the class, but so are readings and doing homework and other exercises.
The main text for the course is called Journalism Next.
Now, don't let the title journalism in there frighten you. If you aren't news savvy, that's okay. This course, a lot of the material can be applied to other fields of work and other types of communication. So while there are some journalistic assignments in the course, and the book is solely journalism focused, the content is really adaptable to marketing and public relations and other kinds of digital communication. Additionally, we'll be using some free ebooks, so I'll be sending those out, and some articles and things that you can check out online. So that'll be sent out also via email. So what is the course actually going to look like? See, beyond the readings, all the work is going to be revolving around using these digital tools. So you're going to be required to create a WordPress and Twitter account that'll focus on a social or political issue of your choice. Though you still need to run it by me so that I can approve on it, but it'll get to be something that you are energized about writing on. You're going to be posting content on Twitter every weekday. So that'll be necessary, get you into the practice of tweeting to an audience on a specific topic. And the post must be original, so no retweets. They need to be something of your own crafting, but they could include links to other content like your own blog or to news articles that you found. So no retweeting, but you could share links within those. That'll be perfectly fine. In addition to that, you're going to be running a WordPress website. And every week, you're going to be writing a 300-word or more post on your theme, on that topic that you've chosen at the beginning of the semester. It's highly encouraged that it's multimedia. You'll be graded on your use of multimedia and professional writing, so have to make sure you have grammar correct and everything. And its readability, its visual aesthetics. Is it easy to digest and get to the information? And this will be due each Friday before midnight, so you'll have the entire week to get to work on that. If you're going to use other multimedia, like somebody else's photos or stuff, you are going to need to obey copyright laws, so you can't just turn in other people's work and kind of hint that it's your own. That's plagiarism. And it's really encouraged that you do go out and go the extra mile to create your own original media. So if you need photos, go take those photos. If you want to do an interview, do that interview with your smartphone and embed that into your post. That aspect of the course alone, the tweeting and the blogging, is going to be 30% of your total grade. Homework and projects will account for the remainder, 70%. Each of the course's 5 projects are going to be 10% of your final grade, so just be aware of that. And the assignments will cover a whole range of topics and really stretch you in crafting targeted communication, that hyperlocal aspect, and getting to use a whole variety of tools and for different fields and purposes. So you'll really get kind of a lot of breadth and depth with this course. Now, a major component of this course is your need to partner with a local nonprofit. This could be a church, a ministry, any kind of nonprofit that we've talked about and I approve of. You're going to have to do that to actually get to kind of practice what you're learning. So beyond just the watching the lectures and reading about it. So you're going to be building a relationship over these next few weeks and help them with their online presence. So you're actually going to have a tangible, if you will, product that you've worked on for an actual client. So you'll need to be able to have access to this nonprofit to do interviews, take photos, and even shoot a brief video for them. Nothing too complex, but you will need to be able to have access to do all these things. And this will help you not only develop a professional experience, but also be a blessing to them as well as you're going to be giving to them. So that is a key component of the course with a lot of the projects based around that. So let's dive into the course. What is hyperlocal? It's the effort to focus on a niche or well-formed community with your content rather than just going for the big mass appeal. Okay, so instead of doing the Super Bowl commercial that's being sent out and viewed by millions, you're going after that, just that target small audience that you're trying to impact. Maybe it's a community, maybe it's a certain ethnicity or a religious group. Maybe it's a community in the sense that they are formed around a certain hobby or topic. But regardless, that's what going hyperlocal is. So a bigger audience may seem more desirable, so why go hyperlocal? But catering to a more funneled group, okay, going after a smaller, more focused group will actually build stronger brand loyalty over time, and your audience is going to be more engaged and committed to following your resource that you provide. So going hyperlocal means delivering the message to meet the audience where they are. And there's a lot of innovative platform strategies that allow this even in a low budget, small organization setting. So we're going to be learning some of the strategies and some of the tools to be able to do that. So let's look at some examples of hyperlocal communication. So let's take a small downtown business, maybe perhaps a cafe. they want to market themselves. So instead of dropping big dollars into creating and airing these commercials like a big business would and broadcast far beyond their target demographic, they opt for a far more focused and cheaper effort. So their customers, who are they? They're downtown locals and visitors, right? So they create social media. And these customers like and favorite their profiles, which will spread to new prospective customers. So they're using social media, something that is free, to start tapping into their customers that will then get shared and redistributed amongst potentially new people that could come in. So through timely posting at just the right moment around certain events and using creative hashtags, they can tweet and post all kinds of new content right when people might be looking for it. And I've actually seen this scenario played out. So there was a cafe I knew that was right downtown during 4th of July parade. And so during that time, when everyone was going to be on their social media checking for events around that time or participating in the 4th of July parade, they were using the hashtags. They were tweeting at the people that would be looking for that. So they got a whole flood of customers coming into their cafe that discovered them while looking for the parade details. And that, in turn, allowed for new customers that then could get into their social media and continue sharing and redistributing their future posts. So I've talked a lot about blogging. Let's dive into it a little bit more. While hyperlocal communication can and should take many forms across many different platforms, the blog has endured as a venue to create deep layered content and even a hub that allows content to be shared out of. It may seem a little bit outdated and there are a lot of flashier things out there, but the blog continues to be a cheap way to create a center for your media to kind of build off of. But before even starting a blog, there are two basic questions you've got to get answered. A lot of people just jump right into blogs and they haven't given thought to this. But first off, what is the goal of the blog? And second, who's the audience? So without answering those two questions, it's not possible to generate effective communication, especially hyperlocal communication, as otherwise you're just kind of going for this broad appeal, trying to hope people pay attention. But if you answer those, then you can really build a blog that has the audience at mind. But you have to keep in mind a couple other things. You have to keep in mind design and readability. The site should allow for content to be easily accessible, and it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. So content needs to be organized. It needs to be arranged so that it flows nicely. These giant walls of text make for a boring read, and just having a bunch of constant media, pictures and videos and sounds constantly bombard you really looks unprofessional. So having a balance of weaving text and media is going to make all the content pop out easier and for your audience to be able to digest it more. So make sure the blog also can work across multiple viewing platforms. So just because you've designed it nice for a computer, you need to also make sure it's working well across a tablet, across a smartphone, so that it looks good on all these different devices. So make use of different kinds of media to keep your audience engaged. Weave that text along with photos and videos and audio, infographics, hyperlinks, put it all there, masterfully designed. It's going to create a very effective communication that audiences can really dive as deep as they want or go as wide as they want with the story. And if it's effective, it's more likely to be shared. So once your blog is up and running, you need to work on bringing quality content to your audience. These are posts that are going to offer the most to your consumers and keep them coming back for more. This takes even more effort with a needed commitment to sharing this content on a regular basis. It's kind of like a plant. If you don't keep watering it, it's going to die. The same with an audience for your blog. If you don't keep giving them content then they will go somewhere else to get it. A website or social media that doesn't post frequently gives no reason for the viewer to want to follow them. So you'll need to set a realistic expectation of post frequency, and then you got to stick to it. So figure out what you can commit to and then stick to that. Make it regular. If it's twice a week, make it twice a week. If you can do it every day, great. If you can do it multiple times a day, then keep a regular pattern. If it's in the morning and the afternoon, those are good. But make sure you understand how much you can actually take on and then stick to a plan. The more time you give to creating and sharing quality content, the better following you're going to have. But it's not just about creating content. A good online presence will encourage audiences to interact with them. That's the social part in social media. So commenting, liking, and sharing your work is a sign of a healthy following, but it should never just be a one-way street. You need to dive into that conversation, interact with your consumers, understand their likes and dislikes, and tap into them as a resource and participate in the community that you're creating. When they see that you're someone that actually cares, they're going to be more likely to continue to follow you and share your content with others. Where blogging is the hub for all your great content, microblogging through social media has its own uses. There's a simplicity in just using social media like Twitter and Facebook. It means you can just focus on sharing your message simply and quickly, rather than having to build this complex multimedia presentation. There's a time and a place for both. But using a smartphone, it's easy to just type out your message and publish it. So microblogging is highly flexible and can be utilized however you need it. So with most platforms like Twitter and Facebook, you can add photos and videos and other content. It allows your message to actually carry an impact. So it doesn't mean that it's necessarily light, even though it's shorter. Microblogging also has the ability to be near real time. By searching trends and utilizing hashtags and direct replies, you can initiate or join conversations as they're happening or as events are occurring. And by this, people can get connected further into your brand and start to follow you. Going hyperlocal is all about meeting your audience where they are, but it also means taking them where you are. So mobile stories are crafted right at the scene. It's not when you get home and you put everything together. You can be telling stories right when things are happening, right where you are, almost in near real time. And a smartphone is a necessary tool for this, for capturing and sharing this kind of content. Before starting, though, you need to determine if the story even lends itself to being a mobile story. Will the audience benefit from being taken there? Or would it be better if you were able to compile it together and send it out later? Will it be better if it's told with urgency? Or can the story be told more effectively by delivering it one little part at a time, kind of like a Twitter story developing with one post at a time? Could turning the video around really quickly, shooting it, and then sending it out as soon as you have it, help people understand the story better? All of these different things need to be kind of taken into question about whether you should take a story mobile. But if you're finding a benefit in bringing the audience to the story, then telling a mobile story can sometimes be the best way to communicate it. And still later on, you can compile lots of these different elements together and present a multimedia presentation. But one of the keys to an effective mobile story is just to keep it simple. Complex stories, like I said, they can be constructed later on a blog, but a mobile story can be shared in these little simple bite-sized tweets and posts, in which case where the whole is greater than any of the parts. And that allows people to kind of follow the story as it's happening. So maybe that initial tweet catches their attention, and then the next tweet comes, and the next tweet comes, and a photo comes, and then a short little video clip comes, and it keeps building, and so people will kind of follow you to see where the story goes. However, mobile story should also focus on telling itself across multiple platforms, engaging your audience in different ways. And so Don't just sit and tell it just through Twitter. Start also writing across Facebook. Start also working on that complex blog piece later on, and have all these things kind of work together to tell a greater story than any one of those platforms ever could. This allows your content to also be shared across various circles and increase your exposure. And that's all we have for this video lecture, so thank you for watching. I will see you next time.